Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Get ready to dive into a world of movies, but not just any ordinary movie marathon. We're about to uncover some seriously juicy, behind-the-scenes secrets. We're talking about those little-known facts that make Hollywood tick, the stories behind those iconic scenes, and the fascinating journeys of some of your favorite films. So grab your popcorn. Here are 30 movie facts you didn't know. Alright, let's kick things off with a true Hollywood legend, The Wizard of Oz. Fact 1. Dorothy's slippers were not red. In the original book by L. Frank Baum, Dorothy's magical footwear wasn't ruby red at all. Nope, they were actually silver. So why the change? Well, this was 1939 and Technicolor was the hottest new thing in Hollywood. Those vibrant reds just popped on screen, and the filmmakers knew they had to take advantage of this groundbreaking technology. And thus, the ruby slippers were born, becoming one of the most recognizable symbols in cinematic history. Okay, movie buffs, let's fast forward to 1942 and journey to a little place called Casablanca. This timeless classic gave us unforgettable lines, wartime romance, and of course the incomparable Humphrey Bogart as the enigmatic Rick Blaine. But can you imagine anyone else in that iconic role? It almost happened. Fact 2. Humphrey Bogart wasn't the first choice for Rick in Casablanca. Both Ronald Reagan and George Raft were considered before Bogart landed the role that defined his career. Thankfully, fate had other plans, and Bogart landed the role, cementing his place in Hollywood history. It's safe to say that Casablanca wouldn't be the same without him. Let's talk about iconic movie moments. Psycho's shower scene is unforgettable. That blood? Not blood at all. Fact 3. Hitchcock used Hershey's chocolate syrup for that shower scene. It photographed better in black and white. Sometimes, simple solutions can be the most effective. Okay, it's 1939, Gone with the Wind, one of the most epic love stories ever told, is about to hit the big screen. But hold on, there's a problem. They need to find their Scarlett O'Hara. Talk about pressure. Fact 4. 1,400 actresses were interviewed for the role of Scarlett O'Hara, including established stars like Katharine Hepburn. But in the end, one woman captured the spirit of Scarlett, Vivien Leigh. She owned that role, and we got a cinematic masterpiece because of it. Let's switch gears and talk about James Bond, 007. Suave, sophisticated, always gets the girl. Fact 5. The first Bond film, Dr. No, was made on a shoestring budget, $1 million. That wouldn't even cover craft services today. Sean Connery was a relative unknown back then, but Dr. No was a smash hit, launching the Bond franchise. Alright America, let's talk about Clint Eastwood, the epitome of cool, the king of the Western. He's an icon, a legend, a man who made squinting into an art form. Fact 6. Clint Eastwood got his break in Rawhide after a Universal producer noticed him not for his acting but because he looked like a cowboy. And just like that, Clint Eastwood was discovered, not for his acting, but for simply looking the part. We're switching gears now, moving from the dusty plains of westerns to the dramatic world of James Dean. This Hollywood heartthrob captured the hearts of a generation, but his star was tragically cut short. He had this raw talent, this undeniable charisma. In a cruel twist of fate, he was gone, taken too soon in a tragic accident. But Dean left behind a legacy that continues to inspire. One of his most powerful performances was in Giant, starring alongside Rock Hudson and Elizabeth Taylor. Fact 7. Dean never got to see his final performance on the big screen. Giant was released after his untimely death, becoming a bittersweet tribute. Hold on to your horses, folks, because we're about to race into the world of epic cinema, a world of colossal sets, thrilling action, and a man who wasn't afraid to risk it all for the perfect shot, Charlton Heston. One of his most iconic roles was Judah Ben-Hur. The chariot race was breathtaking and heart-stopping. Fact 8. Heston did many of his own stunts. No green screen, no CGI magic. This was Heston risking life and limb. You know Paul Newman, right? The ultimate cool cat. Those baby blues could melt glaciers. But guess what? Fact 9. Newman's stunning blue eyes, which helped him become a heartthrob, weren't appreciated by filmmakers until color films became popular. Those eyes lit up the screen like fireworks. Alright, movie buffs, let's talk Marlon Brando, the man, the myth, the mumbler. He was a force of nature on screen, a true original. Brando wasn't always a fan of memorizing lines. He marched to the beat of his own drum. He believed in raw, unfiltered emotion. Sometimes that meant ditching the script. Fact 10. Brando would have his assistant write lines on cue cards, even taped to other actors. Next up, we're moving back to James Bond, the legendary Sean Connery. Suave, sophisticated, he could rock a tuxedo. But Connery was fighting a losing battle with hair loss. Fact 11. From Dr. No onwards, Connery wore a toupee. We're diving deep into the lives of Hollywood legends. You know him as the gruff, tough-talking cowboy John Wayne. But did you know he wasn't always John Wayne? Fact 12. Before he was the Duke, he was Marion Morrison from Iowa. The name change was strategic in a town built on image. John Wayne had a ruggedness that fit the heroes he played. Alright, movie buffs, buckle up because this next one involves two icons who couldn't be more different. Picture this. San Francisco's toughest cop, Dirty Harry, spitting out his signature line, "Go ahead, make my day." Now imagine that iconic voice replaced with the smooth baritone of Frank Sinatra. Fact 13. Frank Sinatra was originally offered the role. A hand injury forced Sinatra to pass on the project. It's hard to imagine anyone but Eastwood embodying the grit and intensity of Dirty Harry. We're talking about the eighth wonder of the world, King Kong. His roar is legendary, sending chills down our spines. But that roar wasn't just soundstage magic. Fact 14. Kong's roar was crafted from real animal sounds. The roars of a lion and a tiger, played backward at a slowed-down speed. The result? A sound that's both familiar and utterly terrifying. Steve McQueen and Yul Brynner, two of Hollywood's biggest stars, shared the screen in The Magnificent Seven. Sparks were bound to fly, and boy did they ever. Fact 15. McQueen, known for his cool demeanor, tried to upstage Brynner. He'd fidget with his hat or gun to draw attention. The tension translated into electric chemistry on screen. The Magnificent Seven is still considered a classic Western. This next fact is truly explosive. We're talking about the bridge on the River Kwai. Fact 16. They literally blew up a real bridge. Director David Lean wanted authenticity, so they went to Sri Lanka and built a massive bridge. The explosion was a marvel of engineering, a defining moment in cinematic history. Okay, film fanatics, because we're about to blast off into a galaxy far, far away. Star Wars, the epic space opera, captured our imaginations with lightsabers, spaceships, and the Force. Fact 17. Star Wars was inspired by Flash Gordon. George Lucas loved Flash Gordon and wanted to recreate that swashbuckling adventure. Unable to secure the rights to Flash Gordon, he created his own space fantasy, and thank the Force he did. Star Wars became a global phenomenon. We're switching gears from movie magic to real-life drama. It's about James Cagney, the tough-talking legend who owned the silver screen. He could rock a fedora and a pinstripe suit like nobody's business. Fact 18. Cagney, famous for his gangster roles, was so convincing that he reportedly received death threats from real gangsters. Alright, let's take a trip back in time to the golden age of Hollywood. Picture this. Flickering black and white images, silent films where emotions spoke louder than words. I'm talking about the birth of the talkie, the first movie with synchronized sound. Fact 19. The first talkie, The Jazz Singer, 1927, is credited with being the first feature-length film with synchronized sound. The Jazz Singer wasn't just a hit, it was a phenomenon that ushered in a new era of filmmaking. Hold on to your popcorn, movie fans, because we're about to dive into the world of widescreen epics. I'm talking about CinemaScope, that revolutionary technology that transported audiences from their seats to vast panoramic landscapes. Fact 20. The Robe, 1953, was the first feature film shot in the widescreen process CinemaScope, which became a hallmark of 1950s epics. Audiences were blown away by the sweeping vistas, the epic battle scenes, and the sheer scale of it all. Alright, America, let's talk about legends. When it comes to Hollywood legends, they don't get much bigger than Walt Disney. He built an empire on dreams, bringing us Mickey Mouse and a universe of beloved characters. Fact 21. Walt Disney holds the record for the most Oscar wins. He racked up 22 competitive awards and 4 honorary Oscars. Hold on to your hats, folks, because this next fact might surprise you. We're diving into the life of Cary Grant, the epitome of Hollywood charm and sophistication. He was the king of romantic comedies, known for his debonair demeanor and those twinkling eyes. But behind that polished facade, Cary Grant was on a quest for self-discovery. In the 1950s, LSD was legally used in psychiatric therapy to help patients explore their subconscious and work through emotional issues. Cary Grant became interested in the drug to explore his own consciousness. Fact 22. Cary Grant had over 100 LSD therapy sessions. Grant believed LSD helped him confront his insecurities and find inner peace. Get ready for a story about courage and conviction. We're going behind the scenes of Spartacus, starring Kirk Douglas. This film challenged Hollywood's status quo during the Red Scare. The 1950s saw Hollywood gripped by fear during the McCarthy era. The blacklist ostracized anyone suspected of communist sympathies. Enter Dalton Trumbo, a blacklisted screenwriter. Fact 23. Kirk Douglas took a stand by hiring a blacklisted screenwriter, Dalton Trumbo for Spartacus. Douglas insisted on giving Trumbo full credit, breaking the blacklist. Alright America, get ready for this one, because this next fact is about a legendary actor, the one and only Gene Hackman. In The French Connection, Hackman's character, Popeye Doyle, became an iconic figure in cinema history. Fact 24. Hackman wasn't the first choice for the role. It was initially offered to Paul Newman and others. But Hackman made the role his own, bringing a gritty realism to the character. They say his dedication to the role was unmatched, transforming the film into a classic. This was pure, unadulterated Hackman, giving it his all for the love of the craft. Okay, movie buffs, let's dive into the dark side for a moment, and by that I mean the iconic Darth Vader. That voice, that presence, it's pure cinematic gold. But have you ever wondered how they created that chilling breathing sound? Fact 25. Sound engineer Ben Burt used a scuba regulator to record it. It's just a guy breathing through a scuba regulator. Simple yet genius, right? Hold on to your swim trunks, folks, because we're diving into the deep end with Jaws. This movie terrified an entire generation from going in the water, and that iconic theme music, pure genius. But here's a little secret. That terrifying mechanical shark, it was always broken. Fact 26. Spielberg had to get creative when the shark kept breaking down. He used underwater shots, ominous bubbles, and John Williams' score to build suspense. And you know what? It worked. The next time you watch Jaws, pay attention to how little you actually see the shark. We're diving deep into another spine-tingling movie fact, and this time we're talking about a film that chilled audiences to the bone and messed with their senses, literally. We're talking about the horror classic, The Exorcist, a film so terrifying that some people reportedly fainted in theaters. Now get this, the filmmakers wanted to create an immersive experience, something that would truly get under your skin. And they didn't just stop at horrifying visuals and sound effects. Fact 27. They actually pumped the scent of burnt wires into some theaters during screenings. The smell of burning electronics, often associated with danger and fear, added another layer of uneasiness to the already intense atmosphere. Hold on to your fedoras, folks, because we're about to uncover a secret behind one of cinema's most iconic looks, Indiana Jones' rugged style. We all know and love that adventurous archaeologist with his whip, his fear of snakes, and of course, that signature hat and jacket. Fact 28. The fedora and leather jacket worn by Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones were deliberately aged by the costume designer, who ran them over with a truck to give them a well-worn look. Talk about going the extra mile for authenticity. In Hollywood, money talks and sometimes it shouts. Let's go back to 1963 with a film that nearly broke the bank. Cleopatra, starring Elizabeth Taylor as the legendary queen. Fact 29. The film Cleopatra was so expensive it almost bankrupted 20th Century Fox. Her costumes alone cost nearly $200,000, over $2 million today. The sets were lavish, with massive constructions and thousands of extras. Cleopatra's budget hit $44 million, equivalent to $400 million today. From epic extravagance to shoestring budgets, sometimes the most iconic films are made with heart, hustle, and ingenuity. Let's step into the ring with Rocky. Sylvester Stallone's breakout role as Rocky Balboa is a true cinematic triumph. The budget was just over $1 million, a pittance compared to big-budget blockbusters. Stallone and director John G. Avildsen got creative. They used real locations in Philadelphia and cut deals with local businesses. Fact 30. Rocky had such a low budget that Sylvester Stallone's real dog, Butkus, appeared in the film because they couldn't afford a trained one. And there you have it, folks. 30 amazing movie facts that might have surprised even the biggest film buffs. From ruby slippers and chocolate syrup blood to budget blowouts and scrappy underdog stories, we've journeyed through the fascinating world of cinema. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these movie facts, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing content. Keep discovering one fact at a time.